morning, students. Welcome to our online lessons. JS3 students, Alex, Safat, and Mr. Abuto have not been seeing your work, but I believe you are connected and you are hearing me. Today, we shall study fuel in chemistry. We shall study fuel, and from, if you look at the board, you will see the definition of fuel. What is a fuel? We say a fuel is a substance that is conveniently used to produce energy as it burns. A substance that produces energy as it burns is known as fuel. Now, conditions for a material to burn. There are certain conditions that must be met for a material to burn. The first condition is that there must be a fuel. The second condition is that heat must be produced. And the third condition is that there must be oxygen supply. Qualities of a good fuel. When we talk of qualities of a good fuel, it simply means the property that a good fuel will have. The first quality of a good fuel is that it must be cheap. The first quality, it must be cheap. The good fuel must be cheap. The second quality is that it must be available in large quantities. It must be available in large quantities. The third is that it must produce a large amount of heat as it burns. It must produce a large amount of heat. The fourth quality is that it must be a liquid at room temperature. And the fifth property is that it must be safe and easily transported. Those are qualities of a good fuel. Now, we take the first example, hydrogen as a fuel. We are using hydrogen as a fuel. How is hydrogen produced? Hydrogen is produced from steam reforming of natural gas. Remember, natural gas is made up of mostly methane. So the steam reforming of methane produces hydrogen. This is the reaction. When methane and steam react, it produces hydrogen. What is the use of hydrogen? Hydrogen is used as a fuel in rockets. Why? Because hydrogen explodes or combine explosively with oxygen. That is why it is being used as a fuel in rockets. Again, we look at the advantages and disadvantages of hydrogen as a fuel. Remember, we talk of the qualities of a good fuel. So if hydrogen is a fuel, definitely it must possess those qualities. The first advantages of hydrogen as a fuel is that it produces a lot of heat. The second advantage is that it is abundant on Earth, meaning that it is too much. The deposits are large on Earth. The next one is that it is causes less pollution. In fact, as a good fuel, there is little or no pollution produced. For a substance to be called a good fuel, it must produce no pollution. So hydrogen produces less pollution, and hydrogen again, it can be renewable, meaning that as the thing is finished, you can recycle it for it to produce more hydrogen. Now we are looking at the disadvantage, the things that make hydrogen not to be a fuel or not to be considered as a good fuel. The first one is that it is difficult to transport because it is a gas. Remember that we said as a good fuel, it should be safe to keep and easily to be transported. But in this case, since as hydrogen is a gas, it makes it difficult for it to be transported. And remember, as a quality of a good fuel must be a liquid at room temperature. But in In the case of hydrogen, it is a gas. Point 2, we say hydrogen forms explosive mixture with air. It forms explosive mixture with air, which is very dangerous. Now, we come here. Hydrogen fuel cell. When we talk of hydrogen fuel cell, we mean a device in which hydrogen is constantly produced. As it is getting finished, it is being recycled. So this is hydrogen fuel cell. Now, looking at this diagram, you will see that the diagram consists of a circuit and an external circuit. It contains the anode and the cathode. It contains two different metals of different reactivity, the copper, the zinc, and the electrolyte. Now, what is a cell or what is a hydrogen fuel cell? A cell is a device that converts chemical energy to electrical energy, and it is composed of two metals. The two metals must have different reactivity connected to an external circuit and the electrolyte. Now, how is this hydrogen cell produced? It is produced due to differences in the reactivity of these two metals. Now, looking at the two metals, at the anode is made up of copper and the cathode is made up of zinc. The more reactive metal makes up the cathode. Remember, the cathode is the negative terminal, while the less reactive metal, which is copper, makes up the anode. Now, the differences in their reactivity produces a voltage. Therefore, meaning that if their differences is large, it will produce high voltage, as the case may be. Now, the less reactive metal, which is copper in this case, has the tendency to give out electrons. Copper will give out electrons, and the electrons will be taken up by the more reactive metal, which is zinc. That is why you see the flow of electrons from the positive terminal to the negative terminal, which is made up of zinc. That is how a hydrogen fuel functions. And one of the advantages of hydrogen fuel is that hydrogen can easily be recycled. We go to the second point of fuel. We say nuclear fuel. When we talk of nuclear fuel, what do we mean? We mean fuel that are being produced by atoms, by radioactive atoms. Now, a nuclear fuel is a fuel produced by a radioactive atom. How does this radioactive atom produces this fuel? These radioactive atoms are being bombarded by electrons. When they bombard them with electrons, they produces large amount of heat as fuel. Now, we look at the advantages of nuclear energy. The first one, it causes little or no pollution. It causes little or no pollution. And a small amount of radioactive isotope produces a large amount of energy. We go to the disadvantage. The disadvantage of nuclear energy is that it cannot be renewable, meaning that once it is finished, it is finished. It cannot be renewable. Remember to copy your notes. JS3. Remember to do your homework. Alex, Musafat, and Mr. Abeto, and make sure you submit them either in hard copy or through my WhatsApp for correction. Thank you very much.